Recognizes Mr. Tiffany for his 5 minutes.
I haven't done this hearing room before, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bosco, we're hearing about banks and other lending institutions that are not lending to companies that make firearms, make munitions, things like that. Are you familiar with that?
I am, yeah.
Tell us how pervasive it is.
Well, I mean, as a small business owner, when you start off a company, obviously somebody like myself who does not come from money had to go through typical lenders to try and find funding for what I was doing. And the minute you either, you need to find a smaller bank, essentially. If you use a larger bank and you say what you're doing, essentially they'll tell you no. So there's no other place to go other than smaller lending institutions.
So what do you think when you hear that the ability to lend is being suppressed?
I believe it.
So where's it driven from?
I mean, it's a politicization. You certainly have people in banks that have political opinions, and what they do is they use those political opinions to essentially stop you from obtaining any money from them.
So there's a real-world example going on right in our state of Wisconsin at this time. I believe it's the Bank of America has cut off a company that is involved in producing these types of products. And fortunately, a regional bank who really does a good job, it's good for them. They're going to pick up that business. But you got one of the big banks that are just saying, you are now persona non grata. Wouldn't you kind of put this under the heading of ESG?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I hope I say your name correctly, Mr. LaRosiere. Do you have any comments in regards to that issue?
As far as debanking the firearms industry, it's been an incredible source of tumult for my clients, and especially when you're talking about small businesses, fewer than 15 employees, then having to pay exorbitant rates, for things like credit card processing. That's why I'm glad that measures have been taken in states like my own in Florida to kind of put a stop to that. But I'm also involved in the firearms industry, and I can certainly say that most people will have to either find some unconventional loans or self-start and bootstrap, and very often resort to credit cards, whereas other businesses don't have that problem.
Thank you. Mr. Wilcox, if a person lies on Form 4473 and is a user of unlawful drugs, you can get between 5 to 10 years for that. Is that correct? Is that my understanding?
No, I believe Congress changed the sentence last Congress.
What is that sentence now?
Up to 15.
Up to 15 years. Why hasn't Hunter Biden been prosecuted for the crime that he committed?
I'm not aware of the facts of that case and can't comment on it.
Okay, who do we talk to see why this case is not being prosecuted? I mean, he said very clearly in his book that he used drugs, he had a gun, at least a gun.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
State your point of order.
Totally irrelevant and not germane to this proceeding.
Sir, he's got his 5 minutes. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, so I understand why you do not want Mr. Wilcox to answer that question. It's very clear why you don't want, because there's a dual system of justice in America. That's what's going on right now, and everybody's talking about it across America. There's two standards of justice that are going on. So I'll just close by saying this, Mr. Chairman. You know, time and again we find ourselves addressing these cynical plays by the Biden administration. Now they're going after the gun-owning people of America, by the way, the legal gun-owning people across America, and it's always using administrative law to do it. This is nothing but a cynical ploy that's going on by the Biden administration, trying to score points with those people that are in their corner of the American public. All you got to do is look at what happened with the student loan thing. It was an election year gambit that went on. They were trying to motivate young people to get out and vote. And how could they do that best? By playing the Supreme Court and Republicans off, oh, those are those evil people that are going to make you have to pay off your student loan. By the way, I have 2 daughters that have student loans, and they should pay it off. They signed a contract. Our family signed a contract. They should do it. And yet this is this kind of cynical stuff that goes on with the Biden administration all the time. And this is no different. This is no different at all. It's time that my colleagues on the left in the Biden administration stop trying to unconstitutionally make law-abiding citizens into criminals. Stop using administrative law the way you're using it. I yield back.